Hey everybody, we're going to get right back into our study of Genesis with a very simple progression of thought to help us come to the conclusion that gap theory really does not make sense. Again, this is my opinion. If you just read the book of Genesis without any assumption of present scientific understanding of the age of creation, I don't think you would come to the conclusion that gap theory has come to the conclusion of. I think the reason for the gap theory is to try to make science fit into Scripture. But if you forget about science entirely, just suspend the influence of scientific observation, and you just read the book of Genesis as it's written, I don't think anybody would come to the conclusion that there were two creations. So let's get into this. So it says, "In the beginning God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. God said, 'Let there be light,' and there was light." Now what gap theorists are suggesting is that God created everything in verse 1. There's a gap in time where Satan came in and ruined God's creation, and the earth became this ruined form of what it was originally meant to be. And then God comes back in and benevolently says, okay, now I'm going to fix everything. And when it says, "And God said, let there be light," there was light. What gap theorists are saying is God is saying, let the clouds get out of the way so that light can shine again. The problem with that is, as we continue to read, "And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and evening and morning were the first day." Now, let's continue reading. "And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. God called the firmament heaven." So it says here, "In the beginning God created the heaven and the earth." If gap theory is correct, then God just made heaven twice. Let's keep reading. "And the evening and the morning were the second day. God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And God called the dry land earth." So it looks like he's just created earth again. "And the gathering together of the waters he called seas, and God saw that it was good. God said, let the earth bring forth grass, and the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. And God and the earth brought forth grass and herb yielding seed after its kind, and tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind, and God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning of the third day. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven, to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon the earth. And it was so." God made two great lights. So it's saying that now, on this day of creation, God made two great lights. So if just previously we were saying that when God said, let there be light, what he's saying is, let the clouds get out of the way so that the light of the sun can shine, that does not make sense. Because just now he's saying, let them be for lights in the firmament, so heaven, in the firmaments of heaven, to give light upon the earth, and it was so. God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser night to rule the light. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. So if pre-creation is true, if the gap theory is true, then God made everything twice. And that just doesn't make sense. Because it appears to me that he's starting from scratch. But that does give us a problem, or that poses a problem. Because if it's true that the first thing God created was light, then we've got to deal with this verse 2 here. So if gap theory is wrong, then how do we interpret verse 2. I'm going to go into that in the next lesson.